Hello, my merciful brothers and sisters. It is I, MisterMercy, bringing you another video with some Overwatch gameplay. Now, this is not going to be a video really related to Overwatch, but I was just watching some videos on YouTube that reminded me of this story, and I felt like this was an important story to share, to put this on record so you guys know about this and know about the individual that this video is about. And it's currently like almost 3 o'clock in the morning as I'm recording this, so I apologize if I'm, not as loud as I normally am on this video. But anyways, I wanted to share my story about my personal interaction with one Pokemon YouTuber named Verlisify, as well as my thoughts on cheating in Pokemon. Now, if you're not into this kind of content, if you're not into Pokemon, then you can just skip to the end of the video where I'll have some more Overwatch content lined up for you. So, this story begins around September of 2015. I had just started watching the Pokemon anime on Netflix, again, like the original one, the Indigo League. I was experiencing a lot of nostalgia and stuff, and I started to get back into Pokemon. There was a time in 2011 where I kind of pretended to be into Pokemon as kind of like an emo thing, but this was really the first time since catching Pokemania in the early 2000s that I really immersed myself into the brand instead of just like kind of wearing it like a fashion statement back when I was emo. So I started picking up some of the newer and the older games and learned all about the 500 some odd Pokemon that I had missed out on after Pokemania hit, and among those I found some favorites, one of which being Meloetta. Now, of course, this was all before Pokemon announced their plans for the 20th anniversary, and before they announced that Meloetta would be getting another distribution. But when I looked up how to get Meloetta, I was very disheartened to find out that it was only available through events, and the last one at the time, the last distribution event for Meloetta, it happened over 4 years ago. So I doubted that it would be released again. It seemed like Game Freak had just kind of forgotten about the Pokemon, they didn't care anymore, it was done. So I was getting kind of desperate. I really wanted Meloetta, so I started looking up stuff about how to get Meloetta outside of the event, and I discovered that you could actually hack Pokemon into the game, virtually anyone you wanted, via a device called Power Saves, which is a little USB dongle that you hook up to your computer, and one end has a slot that you can slide your 3DS cartridge into, and it'll basically it'll download a save from a server that gives you kind of like whatever kind of item you want, whatever Pokemon you want, all kinds of stuff like that. And I knew that if this device could get me Meloetta, then I had to have it. So I asked for it for Christmas that year, and I put it at the top of my list. Now, before Christmas, I also asked my girlfriend what her favorite Pokemon was, because she was in Pokemon as well, and I told her that I intended to hack in a shiny version of her favorite Pokemon when I got my Power Saves, and nickname it after her as kind of like a romantic gesture to the girl I loved. So she told me that her favorite Pokemon was Zoroark, and since I just so happened to really like the shiny form of Zorua, I decided that I was going to hack in a shiny Zorua and name it after her. And that Christmas, sure enough, I got my Power Saves device under the tree, and I immediately went to go set it up and hack my Pokemon into my copy of Alpha Sapphire. So I was pretty damn happy. I had my Meloetta, I had my shiny Zorua that was nicknamed after my girlfriend. It was pretty awesome. I was a bit bummed that I couldn't actually go online and battle with others, because the hack check prevented me from getting online with these hacked Pokemon, but I didn't really care all that much, because I was more into role-playing with my Pokemon anyway than battling, and I also was more into completing my decks than battling, so it did kind of bug me that I couldn't get online with them, but it wasn't that big of a deal to me. So a week or so later, I was looking up videos on what else I can do with Power Saves, and like, now that I got this $20 little dongle that can pretty much do whatever I want it to do with Pokemon, I'm like, well, what else can this do with Pokemon? So I was looking up some videos about it, and that's when I stumbled across a video by Verlisify about power saves. Now, because I refuse to subject myself to his horrendous opinions, and because I don't want to give him a cent of ad revenue, I don't really remember exactly what was said in the video, and I'm not going to go look it up. But basically, it boiled down to, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but if you use power saves, then you're a dirty, no-good cheater, and you deserve to be banned from Pokemon. Now, I can understand Verlis to a point. I think nobody should be outright banned from playing the game, period, but I get his point. Nobody should be using power saves to bring a hacked Pokemon to an official tournament. Now, Verlis and I would disagree that a Pokemon that would be otherwise legal in its stats and moveset and everything, despite it being an illegal ball or being like an illegally shiny Pokemon, that should still be allowed at tournaments. I think it should. Verlis would probably say it shouldn't. But if you're giving your Pokemon an unfair advantage by hacking and then taking that Pokemon with its illegal stats or moves to a tournament, you should be banned from the tournament. That's only fair. However, I felt like Verlis, being a prominently competitive player, wasn't thinking about the casual players in his video, the players who, just play Pokemon for fun. The players who want the Pokemon to battle with friends or just to have and aren't going to take them to some high-profile tournament. So, because of that, I explained my situation. I asked him what he thought about my use of power saves and how I had used it to obtain an otherwise unobtainable Pokemon that I just loved, just for the sake of owning it, and how I hacked a shiny Zorua into my game as a token of love for my girlfriend because I didn't have the time or the patience to shiny hunt for a Zorua. And again, I don't remember word for word his response, but his response to me, because he did respond to me personally, his response, it didn't budge. He told me basically that I was a cheater scum who didn't deserve the right to play Pokemon because I was using power saves. I'm sorry, what? I mean, I could see his outrage if I was a competitive player taking hacked Pokemon with illegal stats and moves to a tournament, but in what way does me hacking a Meloetta for my own personal collection and hacking a shiny Zorua as a token of love for my girlfriend, both of which had perfectly legal movesets, IVs and EVs, by the way, how does that affect anyone else? And hell, I could sympathize a little bit with his anger if I was using these Pokemon to battle strangers online, even though, like as I said, these Pokemon were perfectly legal performance-wise. But that doesn't even factor in, because due to the hack checks that I mentioned, I can't even connect to a battle online with these Pokemon in my party, and therefore cannot use them against another person. So literally no one on the face of the planet ever has or ever will be able to so much as get a glimpse of my hacked Pokemon, let alone battle against them or lose to them. Now, I'm not a great Pokemon battler anyway, so I'm almost positive that the champion of the youth division, I'm talking like ages 10 and under, the youth division of the official VGC, could wipe the floor with me, whether I was using hacked Pokemon or not. I'm pretty sure I could have like the most overpowered, hacked Pokemon with all kinds of legal moves, and the youth division of the VGC, the champion of that, would still crush me, because I just suck at battling that much. And, since my name is MisterMercy, I tried to see his side of the argument. And okay, maybe if you squint at this situation under the right light, you can kind of see some kind of flimsy, frail, and ultimately futile argument against me hacking in Meloetta, since it was an unobtainable Pokemon at the time. Fine. But what really bothers me and grinds my gears is that he tried to demonize me for doing something sweet for my girlfriend. When talking about the shiny Zorua in particular, he told me that if I didn't have the countless hours it takes to breed for shiny Pokemon or hunt for shiny Pokemon, then I shouldn't be playing Pokemon at all. Again, excuse me? Sorry, Mr. Furry Fetish, but I can't just sit pretty atop my 300,000 subscribers and do nothing but take Pokemon way too seriously and make toxic drama videos to exploit my 10-year-old militia of a fan base for ad revenue like you can, apparently. some of us have other shit to do. Eventually, since I got annoyed of not being able to use my hacked mons online, I eventually paid for someone on eBay to hack them for me, and I don't know what voodoo magic they used, but those Pokemon somehow work online. Again, they both have perfectly legal movesets, EVs and IVs. They're, apart from them literally being hacked, you wouldn't be able to tell that they were hacked, because they all have perfectly legal movesets, IVs and EVs. None of them are shiny that shouldn't be, and, you know, they're otherwise perfectly legal. However, do I use them online? Not really. I barely ever battle anyone online, and certainly never in a highly competitive format. And when I do battle, I get my ass handed to me, even with my hacked, quote-unquote, unfair Pokemon. Now, of course, Verlis has also done some really shitty things since then, and I'm glad the PokeTuber community has kind of realized how shitty he's been to his fans, to other YouTubers, to people in the VGC scene, and literally everyone that has the unfortunate experience of communicating with him. But back when this happened to me, nobody seemed to believe that Verlis could have done any wrong, and it was only over this past year did people start noticing how he actually treated others. And luckily, there was hope. I did find a smaller YouTube channel named MegaCrasher who made a video addressing Verlisify due to him attacking a friend of his, a friend of this YouTuber, much like the way Verlis attacked me. And I saw someone finally standing up to this bully in the Pokemon community, and it made me happy. And what made me even happier is that I shared my story in the comments of MegaCrasher's video, and MegaCrasher himself personally responded to tell me that he sympathized with me and that it was stupid of what Verlis told me, and that, you know, Verlis really has no right to say something like that to me. And that meant a lot to me, and I've been a big fan of his channel ever since. If you love Pokemon content, seriously, go sub to him. He's a really great guy, and he deserves all your support. I'll give him an iCard on screen now if you want to check that out. So, what's my stance on cheating in Pokemon? Well, it's simple. You can even plot out all of my opinions on a short little chart. First question, is your Pokemon hacked? No or yes? If no, great. Have fun regardless if it's competitive or casual play. If yes, next question, does it have illegal moves or IVs or EVs? If no, again, have fun in both competitive and casual play. If yes, then just keep it only in casual play. Now, you notice that nowhere in there did I mention that you shouldn't use hacked Pokemon, or that if you do, you're trash and need to die, like Verlis seems to think all the time. If you aren't being competitive with your hacked Pokemon, do whatever the hell you want with them. You want an Incineroar that can use Oceanic Operetta? Go for it. You want that event legendary that you missed out on? Go for it. You want just a simple shiny variant to look at and admire without losing your goddamn mind trying to hunt or breed for one? Then go for it. Don't let anyone tell you that you're garbage for doing it either. Just don't take those Pokemon to official tournaments or competitive play if they do have those illegal moves or IVs or EVs. And if other things like the shiny status, or, you know, what kind of ball it's in, if those things are hacked, I still say it's fine. But then again, I tread cautiously on that front too, because that's starting to get in some thin ice about the legality of that Pokemon. I know there's a whole big thing about Ray Rizzo and his Dream Ball Aegislash, which is, you know, statistically impossible to actually have, and he was still allowed to use that, but, you know, people kind of threw a fit about it because it was technically illegal to use. So yeah, treading on thin ice there. But in my personal opinion, if it's you know, a shiny lock Pokemon that's somehow shiny, or if you're using a ball that Pokemon really can't use, that's fine. It doesn't affect the performance of the Pokemon, in my personal opinion. So if I was running a tournament, I'd let you use it. But yeah, if you're taking that to an official tournament, just be cautious. But if you're just doing your own thing in your own system, playing your own way, and not affecting anyone else in a negative way with your hacked Pokemon, then enjoy them. And don't let people like Verlisify tell you that you need to be banned, or that you're scum, or that you're not a real Pokemon fan. You are. So you do you. But that's basically all I had to say on the matter. So remember, if you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. Subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, I'm Mr. Mercy. Peace, everyone.